idea. Good morning, everyone. A special welcome to our guests here today. Very pleased to see you, and I know they include some former members of the council, and I'm very pleased to see that our alderman, former councillor John Tucker, is with us today. So a special warm welcome to John, and we're delighted to see you all. We're not expecting a fire alarm, but if there is one, would you please exit through those two doors and gather at the far end of the car park? And please turn your mobile phones onto silent, or preferably turn them off so we won't be disturbed. Sadly, it's my duty to reflect on the fact that since our last meeting, we have lost two former members of the council, Ian Blackler and only this week, Judy Westacott, MBE. Ian was a councillor for 12 years, from 2007 to 2019. Firstly, for what was then the Cornwall and Sparkwell ward, which later became Newton and Yampton ward. He was a true gentleman. I knew him quite well from other spheres. A true gentleman, very civil, very friendly. In his other life, he was an estate agent and auctioneer. He was a dedicated family man, and he did tireless work for Ivorish Rotary Club. So we're very sad to have lost Ian. And last night came the news that Judy Bennett, a stalwart of Totnes and a member of this council from 1991 to 2015, died on Tuesday. She was chair of this council from 98 to 99. She was a good friend to me and to my wife, Kathy. She was highly involved in charity work in Totnes. I think she had the freedom of, she's had the freedom of Totnes, I believe, looking at the board on Tuesday. She was well known in many circles, not least the Elizabethan market, where she would appear splendidly dressed in her Elizabethan costume. She had a ready wit and always had a twinkle in her eye. So both of these will be sadly missed. I would ask if we could just stand for a short moment's reflection on their lives. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is our South Hams Community Awards and the presentations. These are our first awards, and we've had a tremendous response in the number of nominations. Well over 50 people and organisations have been nominated. It was a very difficult task for the judging panel to choose a winner in each category. There were so many amazing individuals and organisations working hard for our communities and going above and beyond what many people would do to help others. We will be running the awards again next year, and as a result of some of the nominations made this year, we're going to expand the awards to include specifically a green award. We feel that would be really appropriate to honour the work that so many people are doing for the environment. So I'm going to ask in a moment the winners to come up and receive their certificates. The organisation award, there are two winners of this, joint winners. The Kingsbridge Food Bank, nominated by Mrs. Harriet Ferguson for a great team effort to support households in Kingsbridge and surrounding areas, and to highlight all the good work done by volunteers and the importance of the support they offer to the vulnerable and those in need. Now, I want guidance on this. Are we going to ask them up individually or all together? Well, I think what I'll do is ask you to come up individually and then to wait, and when we have... Are we taking any photographs? Perhaps we'll... in that case, I'll ask you to wait when you've got your award and we'll take photographs then. Thank you very much. So, first of all, then, the Kingsbridge Food Bank. Would you like to come up? Okay. Would you like just to stand to one side and we'll do the next award? One more, right? Okay. Right. Don't go too far. The next award is for the River Yam Dementia Friendly Parishes. They share this award with the organisation award with Kingsbridge. Nominated by Councillor Caroline Adams of Newton and Noss Parish Council, nominated for raising awareness and understanding about dementia and how it can impact people's lives, both for people with dementia and for those who care for them. So if the Dementia Friendly Alliance would like to come forward, please. Lovely to see you again. Would you like to, well, perhaps you can both turn and face, yeah, that's it. Where do you want, that's it. Okay, if you'd like to stand at the end there. And the next one. The next category is the Community Champion Award. And again, I think this is shared. We have two winners. The first, Robin Cox, was nominated by Councillor Derek Hoare of Malden Parish Council, nominated for his extensive efforts to keep local footpaths and roads accessible and safe for all, and for co-founding the Malden Environment Group and helping make it a success for over 30 years. So, Robin, would you like to come forward? Other winners who weren't able to be here today, for the Community Champion Award, the award is shared also with Peter Davis. He was nominated by Mrs. Joan Kerslake and nominated for his work in the local community over many years, such as planting and watering, and helping people, such as providing lifts to the elderly residents, and in supporting events such as the fair, fireworks and Christmas celebrations. So he shares the Community Champion Award. And the winner of the Young Persons Award for under 18s sadly can't be here. He's doing his GCSEs today. So I guess that probably has to take precedence. And the winner is, I'm delighted to say, is from my own parish of South Brent, Kieran Grills. He's been nominated for his participation in the Dartside Scouts Explorer Unit, his willingness to help with all tasks with a smile, and his thoughtful and caring support with younger members of the Scout troop. So perhaps we could give those who aren't here a round of applause as well. Item 2 on the agenda is the election of the chairman of the council. Please feel free to leave if you have to go on. That's fine. We'll just wait a moment. Right, we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda. Order, please. Order, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the election of the chairman of the council. Do we have any nominations?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'd like to nominate Bernard Taylor.
We have Councillor Taylor nominated. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to second that nomination.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Are there any other nominations? No other nominations. In that case, I have great pleasure in declaring that Councillor Taylor... Oh, do we? Sorry, we still have to vote on it. Even if there's no other nominations, we still have to put it to the vote. Will all those in favour please show? Unanimous, I think.
That is unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
That was clearly carried. So, so I have great pleasure now in declaring that Councillor Taylor is duly elected as chairman of the South Hams District Council for the ensuing municipal year. Ceremony shrouded in the mist of time.
I, Bernard Taylor, have been elected to the office of Chairman of South Hams Council, declare that I take this office upon myself and would duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of its accordance to the best of my judgment and ability. You can take the bank details off.
Well done.
Now I've got to say something apparently, haven't I? It's my turn to say something now then. Well, very official, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to stand for this bit. I would like to thank Julian and all the members to having faith in me to represent the council for the next 12 months. Thank you for that, Julian, and Nikki for seconding that. And I hope that I can do the honorary role justice on behalf of the council. We have some work to do as a team. Most important of all is to build more affordable housing. which I believe should be on top of our spending list, not forgetting the fact that climate emergency is very important. Both of these items are achievable if we all work together as a united front. And I think the council really pulled together on all these items. Now, at the request of the deputy leader, he wants me to say a few words about me. I tried to desperately avoid this, but he insisted I should. I gained an NCA in agriculture and attended 2 unis. One is still ongoing after 76 years, which is the University of Life. And I think that I've been trying to say to gain a degree in this, but you don't get a paper, so I'll leave it up to you whether it's worked or not. The other was probably a financial thing, and I did do a bit of work on this one, and I was taught to turn my pennies into pounds, and I only had a few pence. And if you want to know the outcome of that, get hold of the tax man, because that's the only way I can think that it's going to work. I made some notes in there as well. I would like really to have a personal welcome to Alderman John Tucker, who led this council for several years and done an excellent job. Welcome, John. And of course, not forgetting Rosemary, who was chairman 3 times, 4 times now she's telling me. All right, 4 times. Do you want the chain, Rose? and she's done an excellent job, especially during COVID when everything had to be done by Zoom. Unlike me, who's got my learned advisors all the way around me, she had nobody. She was in her own office, and I think she's done an excellent job. And I think everybody agreed with that. And then, of course, we got Councillor Foss, who was chairman of planning for some time, and now he's reached the dizzy heights of being a parish councillor. So well done to that, and welcome everybody. And of course, not forgetting my secretary, and probably, well, she always complains about everything I do anyway. So that's my wife, and she's but that's what secretaries do, isn't it? They just find fault, which is brilliant. But just a short bit on what I've been doing in the past years. I was chairman of the local NFU, chairman and president of Totnes Agriculture Show, chairman of Bigby Golf Club Limited, chairman of Modbury Parish Council, vice chairman of the planning committee, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you very much. And at present, I'm president of Modbury Fruit and Produce Show and president of Devon Barbarians Golf, which is my sort of little outlet, apart from the fact that I do enjoy a game of golf, but I do like also trying to produce some vegetables that we can eat, because if I can't eat it, I don't grow it, and I leave Margaret to grow the flowers. And of course, I do like a little bit of cooking in between times, and I'm sure that not everybody will agree that it works. So that's been what it is. So are you happy with that, Councillor?
We like your cakes, Councillor.
Oh, that's right. Nothing else, but that's fine. But yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I got to say on that one. Now, Guy, he's been an excellent chairman, and it's been a pleasure working alongside him. And I hope my year is as successful as Guy's. Your boat trip down the river was excellent, and how you managed to get 60 portions of fish and chips delivered on board, I should never know. But obviously you worked it well. And also the train trip, which was more recent, by the side of the Dart from Breakfast Lead down. So that most enjoyable. And obviously the civic service at South Brent was one of the highlights. and that was excellent. We were all well fed, well watered, and went a bit dizzy, but that was fine. So well done, Guy. And outward cataracts have been dealt with, and your vision is now corrected. Thank you all very much. Right, now we're going to move on to item 4, which is to. I got to find it. I've done that. I've done so. Oh yes, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I did admit to invite Denise O'Callaghan, who would like to say a few words. This is not for debate, and because of my ability, I've allowed her to say a few words environmentally.
Thanks. Would you like to stand for this, or yeah? Oh, okay, will do. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not going to challenge Bernard for the chairmanship or anything. Don't worry. I don't. And also, please bear with me because my voice is going. I think I'm slowly falling apart, or possibly quickly falling apart. I don't know. Anyway, I'll try and be quick. Yes, just in my capacity as lead for environmental health, I just thought it might be appropriate. Not least because we have our residents listening to this, and we have had the terrible, you've seen the terrible news in our community about the water parasite outbreak in the Torbay area, Brixton, Paignton, Kings Wear. And I just wanted to say on behalf of all of us that so sorry to hear of the illnesses that many residents have had. In a few cases, they have been hospitalised. Officially, there are 57 cases of cryptosporidiosis. Obviously, there are going to be an awful lot more, and probably still happening because it's infectious. It is shocking, really, shocking news that this can happen in our drinking water, which we take for granted that it should be clean. I think it's widely considered that South West Water didn't respond adequately to this, too slow to act, told people they were able to drink the water when they should have said to boil as a precaution, and then had to reverse that decision within 24 hours, which did not help the situation. As a council, we have an environmental health department, and our officers have been stepping up to the plate to help coordinate the response to this with the other authorities involved. And we have as I mentioned earlier, we have affected residents within our district in the Kingswear area. And I think Councillor Hawkins may correct me, but I believe they're still being told to boil water at the moment until further notice. And our environmental health team has been coordinating, as I said, and keeping residents effectively updated as to what has been happening. I think Councillor Hawkins, I can probably not tell him any surprises, so I don't think he's been very happy with South West Water's response either in Kingswear. And it did seem an insult when South West Water did pay out large dividends, we heard this week, with residents so ill in so many cases and worried about what is happening with their drinking water. Many of these residents will be vulnerable ones as well and on a priority register. They were offered £15 compensation, went up to 115, 200, going up and up. But really, I believe they should have had their bills cancelled for this year, the water bills, plus compensation on top. And we know also here that bills, we're talking about bills going up in the next few years of 33%.
Denise, I think this is more for full council. You just make a brief statement now.
Yes, I'm just winding up now, just to say that I do believe... I believe Susan Davey, the CEO, is going to appear before MPs in the coming couple of weeks. And I do believe that there should be some sort of independent investigation into what has happened, not least into what checks are done on the infrastructure that we have. So really, that's all I wanted to say, because I feel that this is such a big issue here that it should really be marked. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. I think Jonathan Hawkins, Councillor Hawkins, wants to come in for just a quick one.
If I can very, very briefly say, South West Water have treated the residents of Kingswear and Hill Head as second-class citizens. All the press has been on the issue of, obviously, the issue in Brixham. This was served from the Hillhead Reservoir, which is in the South Hams parish of Ben and Eyes. They did come to our annual parish meeting last night. We eventually got at 5 o'clock last night their notification that they would come and speak to the residents. The problem was at 5 o'clock last night we couldn't really advertise it very well. We had about 20 people there, but they have treated our residents as second-class citizens. They've treated us very poorly. We're still under the restriction of we having to boil our water. That I think will be at least until the end of this weekend or probably early next week. And when they first announced it, they actually denied it. That was one of the worst things. They should have actually said, we are looking into it and we will get back to you. But they denied it. And then within, I think, 12, 14 hours, they actually said, yes, we've got it. And last night at our parish council meeting, there was one family that had 3 cases in the Hillhead section of the parish. So, yes, they've treated us really badly. And I thank Denise for that. And I thank Karen Proctor for all her help and support as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Hawkins.
Thank you very much, Bernard, and congratulations. Well deserved. So yes, I'd like to propose a vote of thanks for Guy for what he's done in this year. I'll be brief because I've got an annual statement to come up before, but I just think that Guy has led this council, or led isn't a proper word, but has been the figurehead of this council, and he's done that by example. He carries all the characteristics of the job that's required, I feel. Empathy, civility, and most of all, fairness and impartiality. You set the lead here in the council for that, Guy, and we have followed, and I think that it has worked incredibly well. So thank you so much for that. You know, you'll be vice chair, and hopefully we'll see you again as chair at a later date. Also, I'd just like to say a couple of things, if I may, if you'll indulge me, that are more sort of personal to me. But first of all, that is to say, and I'm sorry that Kathy isn't here today, but when I first got onto this council 21 years ago, Kathy, that's Guy's wife for those who don't know, was my group leader. And I have to say she taught me so much about the council and how it works. And I always remember when I first got onto the council and the then leader, Richard Young, I think it was, pulled Kathy aside and he said, who's this rather sort of bumptious upstart you've got who keeps asking all these awkward questions? Some of you may say, well, nothing's changed there. And I have to say, Kathy said, well, he's going to be what he's going to be, and stuck up for me. And I always thank her for that. That was great, and sort of gave me my wings as a councillor, because I know it takes time. And secondly, and not everyone will know this, certainly not members who aren't members of our group, is that when right at the beginning of the council, when we talked about being inclusive and bringing everyone in from all political parties, because we felt that that would give us a stronger council to hear all voices, there was a certain amount of dissent within my own local party. And I have to say, you know, people were saying, no, you shouldn't do that. This is how we've always done it, and we should do it like this. Guy was probably the most instrumental and influential voice who said, no, you know, we have always said that the council should be inclusive and should pull in the talents from all parties, where it doesn't matter about their political persuasion. And so it was very much because of Guy that we have taken down that path. Now, you may say, well, you know, in retrospect, it was a wrong thing to do. I don't think so. So thank you so much for that as well, Guy. That's a personal thanks from me, and I think people should realise how instrumental Guy was in bringing that about. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you, Guy, and shall see you soon.
Thank you, Councillor Brazil. And I mean, I think we all feel the same way. Well done to Guy. And now we move on to item 5, which is a... Oh, sorry.
So-
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to echo what Councillor Brazil has said. I think, Guy, oh, there he is. You've really served us well over the past year, and it has been a year of incredible change. There's little old us on this side, and there's big old you on that side, and that is a monumental change for this council. But I think we're all working really well together, and I think that's a credit to each and every one of us individually to be able to work well together. And I thank Greatsme, the leader of the council, for that, and I thank Councillor Panel for, you know, and I'm glad to hear that you were part of that. I came here 25 years ago, and I remember seeing Julian at the first council that he, although this isn't about Julian, but I'm going to say, and I understand that Bumptious jumped up, whatever it was, because at the time it was a bit of a shock, and yeah, it was different. But I love the impartiality now, and I like the fact that when we don't have to play politics, we don't play politics, because Councillor Panel, I know your devotion is to the South Hams as well as South Brent, and I think as for us as individual councillors, we must always remember, although we have our wards and we like to look after our residents in our wards, we actually are here for the whole of the South Hams, and so may that continue for a lot longer to come. And very quickly, very lastly, but it's great to see the old, I call them the oldies, and they told me off, but the stalwarts on the back bench, because I miss you dreadfully, as I continually have. Well, I've stopped telling them about 2 or 3 months ago that I miss them dreadfully, but yeah, it's great to see you come today to support our new chairman, and I'm sure we're going to have an interesting full council in the year to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. I think Jackie would like to respond shortly.
Yeah, just to reflect also the change in administration and the atmosphere that's happened in the last year has been absolutely fabulous. And I think Guy's been very much part of that. You know, it's not easy to lead a new council and a new administration. And I think it's been smoothed by having a chair that is actually very open to everybody and very impartial. And I think has, you know, brought in the sort of social elements, which I think is very good for us all, getting to know each other a bit better in a different way. So I think that's to be welcomed, and I just, you know, thank him for it, and good luck to you, Bernard, stepping into those shoes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Hudson. Right, now we move on to item 6, for item 5 even, and I will ask the retiring chairman for a response, please.
As you would accept, I'm far too shy and retiring to really want to speak, but I've been persuaded to jot down a few words. Thank you for your, and I put this in brackets, kind words. I wasn't quite expecting or knowing what was going to come, but you've been very, very generous, and I thank you sincerely for that. I've enjoyed and valued my year in office. You may have wondered what the chairman does, apart from try to keep you all in order. Like me, you may have thought it's not very much, but recently reality kicked in. Here's a quick rundown from my diary over the past 6 weeks. I have represented the council at the funeral of the former member Ian Blackler, taken the chain of office to have extra names added, collected the chain of office, attended the Lord Mayor of Plymouth Civic Service, the Brent Singers 50th anniversary dinner, the chair of Devon County Council's Civic Service, the Exercise Tiger 80th anniversary commemoration at Slapton, and the Lord Lieutenant's BEM Awards presentation at Exeter Guildhall. I've received a letter from the Princess of Wales thanking me for my letter of support in her illness from the people of the South Hams. And my wife Cathy and I attended a King's Garden party in the grounds of Buckingham Palace in the most marvellous weather, meeting mayors from as far apart as Cardiff, Greenwich and Doncaster. We organised a chairman's steam train trip and cream tea, attended the opening of the Elizabethan Craft Market in Totnes, and on Tuesday I represented the council at the Totnes Mayor-making ceremony. I hasten to add this was not the colourful equine event which a friend of my daughter misunderstood her to be attending. No, it wasn't the mare mating ceremony. I'm pleased to report that I managed all this despite nursing some broken ribs over the past 5 weeks and eye surgery just over a week ago. I'm also delighted that my chairman's appeal has raised just about £2,000 this year towards the new lifeboat house for the RNLI at Dartmouth. I owe a debt of gratitude to everyone who's contributed so generously. So a busy year, and sincere thanks to all those who've helped me through it. My consorts Kathy and my daughter Sam, my truly supportive Vice Chairman Bernard, Anna, Darryl and the Democratic Services team for all their hard work, and finally thanks to you, members and officers, for making this a year I will remember and treasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guy. We will now move on to item 6. You've got to watch me because I jump items sometimes. Yeah, he's watching me. So we move on to the appointment of Vice Chairman of the Council. Are there any nominations, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Guy Pannell.
Happy to second that, Chairman.
Are there any other nominations? So are we all in favour of Guy becoming Vice Chairman, please? Are those in favour? Good.
That's unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Guy, if you come forward and accept your chain of office. And I have taken the lead off, which I've had to keep on there all the time I've had it on.
I, Guy Pannell, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of South Hams District Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Yeah, okay. I don't need that anymore. Moving house.
Is this your cup of tea?
Yep. My coffee. We've done that. There we go. Item 7, Nick. Right, we now move on to item 7. It is necessary for the council to agree as a correct record and authorise me to sign the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 21st of March 24. Will somebody please so move? Thank you. Is there a seconder? seconder. All in favour?
Thank you, Chair. It's clearly carried for the minutes. Thank you.
A question of what? Is there a problem with the minutes? No, she can't. Sorry. Right, we now move on to item 8, declarations of interest. Members are invited to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest, other registrable interest, and non-registrable interest you may have in any items of business to be considered at this meeting. In doing so, could members please state the nature of their interest? Is there anyone with any interest? No. Thank you very much. Now we move on to item 9, and we come back to the leader again, Councillor Brazil, for the annual statement, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, and congratulations, Guy. Good to see you back here. And also, first of all, I should say how remiss of me not to welcome past leader and councillors when I spoke beforehand. So, you know, always welcome here, and thank you so much for all the work that you did when you were here. I had a few words with John earlier. I was amazed me how he used to get everyone to do what they were meant to, and anyway, he's going to give me a few techniques. So we'll do that. But no, I mean, it's lovely to see you here. So, as I said, I've been a councillor now for 21 years, and this is the anniversary of our first year as a new administration. And I have to say, I'm incredibly proud to stand here as leader of South Hams District Council. I think we all know we're very lucky to live in such a special place. And I think when we saw with the community wards beforehand, that not only is it a wonderful place, but we have some wonderful people here who do wonderful things for us. And I think it's the job of the council to facilitate all that great work that these community groups and individuals do to make sure that they can continue that good work. And that's something that I feel that this council will build upon, that we very much, if I think about this council and what we want to achieve, one of the sort of mood music within this council is we very much want to be a bottom-up council. So it's the community and our parishes and our towns telling us what they want to do and us enabling them to do it. So we are an enabler and a facilitator rather than doing to them. And I think what you see with the community groups, that everything they do, how fantastic that all is. So it's the first year. We've had basically our honeymoon period. We've got our council plan in. We've taken the new administration forward. And now the really hard work starts, that we need to deliver on those plans that we want to deliver. And I have no doubt it will be a bumpy road on occasions. But I am confident that we will be able to deliver everything or almost everything that we want to. And I definitely see it as the council. It's not one group or another. It's about the council. It's about inclusivity. And at this point, I'd just like to extend my gratitude and thanks, because it's all very well saying we want to work with everyone, but it's those groups, those others from the other side who get to say, yes, okay, we'll work with you, because they don't have to. So a massive thank you to Nikki and Jackie, and also to Mark and Ben for what you do, because you don't need to, you don't have to cooperate with us. But I'm hoping that as we progress with this council, that we'll see that this is the best way forward. And I'd like to take 2 examples, I think, in this council where it's worked incredibly well. And the first is around the Freeport. And whatever one thinks about the Freeport, whether it was in favour or against, I think it's really important that all the voices are heard and that people have their different views about it, and that we do take it on board, rather than to shut the debate down and just say, this is what we're doing and we're pressing on with it. It's absolutely crucial that the Jackies and the Georginas of this world keep our feet to the fire so that we can keep the Freeport itself's feet to the fire to make sure we deliver what's best for this council. And I think that that is a strength of this council rather than a weakness, that we have that debate, that genuine debate, that when it came to it, people from across the political spectrums voted all different ways. You know, some of my group voted against it, some are for it, and some abstained. And I think that that is a sign of maturity and confidence that the right decision will be made. It might not be the decision that you agree with, but I hope you will accept that that is the best way forward. And another example I'd like to bring up, and that is the more mundane and maybe slightly less glamorous, but equally important, and that was the Dartmouth Park and Ride. You know, we didn't get that right. We didn't handle it right. We didn't consult as much as we should do, but we were prepared to step back, listen to the community, listen to the local members, and they had quite a lot to say. But, you know, and again, Nikki was absolutely right saying that we hadn't consulted enough, and we hadn't. So we went back and we did it again, and I think we came to what was a very excellent compromise that not everyone was absolutely happy with everything, but we got the best result we could. And again, I think it showed that how a council, not afraid to question itself or to come up with those difficult ideas and put forward different solutions, that's actually a sign of strength. So I welcome that. Finally, just to say, you know, I'm absolutely thrilled that we've managed to, and I take my hat off to the senior officers and Sarah Moody, who's not here in particular, about the waste, that we've managed to bring the waste back into house and now rolled it out across the whole district. And I thank my predecessor Judy for putting that in motion, and we've been able to carry it through. I mean, that's the luck of the draw, isn't it? That we're here to say yes, we've done it. But there's no doubt that Judy, with all that pressure and problems they had before, has managed to sort that out. So, you know, I thank her, and also I thank the officers, senior officers in particular, for that management change, and indeed the people who work on that. We've got a number of exciting projects coming forward. I think they're really exciting. We know that we need to get our core services right, the rubbish collection, the planning, the enforcement, and then we can carry out some of these exciting projects that I think will make South Hams a better place, an even better place than it is now. And those will only be successful if we take all the councillors with us and all our communities with us. So I stand up here as leader. It's something, I'm not a particularly hierarchical person. You know, I'd like to think that we're all equals in it. And I hope that you, as individual councillors, and particularly the newer members, are proud of what you have achieved so far. Because I think that we have made a change here at South Hams already. The writing was on the wall and it was beginning to happen, and now we have stepped it up and moved forward with that, and you all play a part in that. So thank you so much for that, and I'm sure that we will go on from strength to strength. So this time next year we hope to have lots of exciting projects that we've started or even coming to fruition that we can announce. I look forward to that, yeah, that will be exciting times ahead. Finally, my last thing is that obviously a general election is being called. I have no doubt that in the next 6 weeks there's going to be quite a few brickbats thrown around and about, and I hope that we've got the strength to ride over that. Things will be said in the heat of an election battle that we probably think, well, they didn't need to do that, but let's remember that in the end we are all here to fight for what's best for our communities and the South Hams, so that in 6 weeks' time when we meet here again at full council, I think it's in end of July, that we have managed to weather the storm of a general election and all the political fighting that goes on, and that we can get back to doing our job, which is delivering for the South Hams. Thank you all very much. Oh, yeah. Sorry, one thing I forgot to say, and that is that so within the executive, I'm going to bring in Nadine as an extra member. There's Nadine. Yeah, sorry, as an extra member of the executive, and that's on two particular projects that Nadine will start with, and that is to deliver PV panels on our leisure centres because for whatever reasons it doesn't seem to have been happening as fast as we want it to. And the other thing is to support John in the delivery of local food, especially here on our estate. So those are the two projects I brought in. And sorry, Nadine, it's got it there in black and white and I didn't read it out. But there we are. So welcome on board the executive. Anyway.
Thank you, Councillor Brazil. I thought I was the only one that oversaw what I got written down, but obviously not. Right, we move on to item 10, which is representation on political groups. Officers have been informed. Political groups on the council, these being the Liberal Democrat group with its leader, Councillor Brazil, the Conservative group with its leader, Councillor Hopwood, and the Green Party with its leader being Councillor Hudson, Labour Party member and one non-aligned independent member. As a consequence of the political composition of the council, a table is shown on the screen which sets out the legal position and makes recommendations about the allocations of seats to council bodies for 2024-25 municipal year. Is a member now willing to move the recommendations regarding the allocation of seats, but not the appointments, as outlined on the screens?
Yeah, happy to move second or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you. Do I need a seconder on that?
We got.
Oh, you got the 2 seconders, right. All in favour?
Can I just ask a question? You've got, there's one for DM, but we've actually got two on there for DM committee because we've got Georgina as well.
You want me to help, Chair?
Please.
In this instance, Councillor Brazil's Leader of the Council the Lib Dem group haven't taken up their full allocation of DM committee seats, so is actually proposing at the next item to give one of their seats to your group. So in terms of political balance per se, your group's entitled to one seat,
Okay.
but actually Councillor Brazil's recommending at the next item, there's discretion is used for an additional seat for your group on DM committee.
Just wanted to raise it in case this got used against us on the next item, that was all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't trust everybody.
Right, can we now go back to the vote? All in favour?
That's clearly carried for item 10. Thank you, Chair.
Lovely job, thanks. Anybody against? No, can't be. Abstentions? No, right. We move on to item 11, appointment of members and substitute members of the bodies of the council. Members, your attention is drawn to the list showing the nominations for membership of the various council bodies put forward by the leaders of the political groups. Is someone now prepared to move nominations as indicated on the published list?
Happy to move, Chairman.
Seconder? Yeah. Are we all in favour of that? Yep. Thank you. Members, it is my intention to vote on these en bloc. So obviously that's been already done. I should think, yeah?
You've done it well done, Chairman. Yes, it's done.
Yeah, you can't be slipping a thing or two because you move it on quicker. So that's fine. Right, item 12, election of
Sorry,
chairman.
Chair, can I just clarify two things before we do move on? The nature of that vote was such that because we are looking to retain the convention where substitutes can be allocated, not necessarily on a like-for-like political basis, because no member voted against that proposal, that convention will continue. And just for the public record as well, Councillor Rake very kindly pointed out just before the meeting that his name was missed off the list of subs for ONS. So we've taken it on the screens that he is added to that list of subs. So just for the record. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, we move on now to item 12, election of chairman and vice chairman of the bodies of the council. Sorry, I got somebody with their hand up. Oh, sorry, Jackie.
I was just checking that I shouldn't be a sub on the overview and scrutiny, should I? As well, because I'm not mentioned there, but I'm happy to be if that's part of the system. No, because I'm on exec.
Yes,
Fine. Okay. Thank you. Just check.
Councillor Hodgson, I'm going to get you a little red flag because I miss you very often, don't I? When it comes
I'll bring in a green one next time.
Oh, you bring, all right. Sorry about that. I would bring a blue one. Right, now we can move on to item 12, election of chairman and vice chairman of the bodies of the council. Members, we will move on to the list of the nominations received from the leaders of the political groups of chairman and vice chairman. Would someone please move acceptance of the nominees on this list published?
So moved, Chairman.
Seconder?
Happy to say.
Yeah. All in favour? Thank you.
That is unanimous for the list as published. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Item 13, appointment of governance bodies, boards and panels. A list has been circulated showing the governance boards and panels to which council currently appoints members are firstly asked to agree to the principle of these boards and panels being established as shown on the list. We will then need separate votes on the proposed size of the appointments. Therefore, is there a proposal for the boards and panels as to be established as indicated on the list?
Yeah, I'll propose that, Chairman.
Seconder? Seconder. We all in favour of that? Yeah.
That's clearly carried for the list as published. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there a proposal that the size of these boards panels is as proposed on the published papers? Could I have a vote for that, please? Propose and second first. Yeah, I say I need a proposer and
I'll
seconder.
propose that, Chairman.
Seconder. Yeah, lots of seconders. We all in favour?
Thank you, Chair. It's clearly carried for the size of those boards as listed. Thank you.
I need to go down to there now.
You're finding all the appointments, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. In light of these decisions, can I now have a proposer to appoint the members as circulated in the papers? Proposer, please.
Yeah.
Seconder?
Propose.
Lots of them. All in favour?
And that, once again, is clearly carried, Chair, for the list of members as printed. Thank you.
Lovely. Right. Now I can move on to item 14, appointment of representatives to outside bodies. Members on the screens, there are two.
Chairman, can I speak to it before you go into the detail?
Yeah.
With your agreement, Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a motion of this council that people who are on these outside bodies would report in a simple way. There was an investigation led by a Conservative chairman under the last administration, and it was agreed that there would be a simple report once a year to tell the rest of the council members what was going on. We received some of these through the year, which is fine. Fewer at the end of the year, but I wouldn't argue that point. But largely, we don't receive reports. So if these people are going to be appointed in the coming year, how are we ever going to know, what are we going to do about the motion of council if the reports don't come through? Why would the people, what are the people doing on this committee? Because I don't know. On these bodies, I don't know.
Thank you, Councillor Abbott. Yeah. Yes.
Chairman, if I could respond very briefly, if I may, to Councillor Abbott, and this is a direct response to him. One his caveat, quite rightly, was that if members did not give reports, it gave rise to the suggestion that there was no value to the council in members being on those boards. And on that point, I have to say I completely agree with him. And further to that, Councillor Abbott, I say to you that having been a member of the Police and Crime Commissioner's Scrutiny Panel for 1 year, I have yet to find any purpose for this council being a member, and I note my predecessor agreeing with me on that. So just for the public record, and I'm very happy for it to be a matter of public record, if this council did not send me to the Police and Crime Commissioner Scrutiny Panel, it would make not one iota of difference to the residents of the South Hams.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hopwood.
Having said that, Chairman, we haven't had a report from Councillors Brazil and Thomas on the joint South-West and West Devon Plymouth Local Plan Partnership Board. So if you want to replace yourselves, I'll put my name forward.
Can I just reply to that? Fair point, Nikki. But we did have an annual meeting which all councillors were invited to, so I took that as the report. But yeah, no. Thanks for pointing that out.
Obviously, Councillor Hopwood wants to be on that. There. So, can we go back to item 14 now?
You can. Do you want me to reply to?
Yes, if you will, please.
So Councillor Abbott raises a really important point. I think we will have a conversation with any member appointed to an outside body and agree with them how they will report back and when, and Darryl will make that available to members so they know what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Abbott, for raising that. It's fine. Now we got to move. Well, I'll go on. I won't go on. I'll continue on item 14. Appointment of representatives to outside bodies. Members on the screens. There are 2 recommendations that includes a list of nominations from the leaders of the political groups, council representatives on various boards. Can I ask if someone now prepared to move the recommendation, please?
I'll move that, Chairman.
Seconder.
I'll second, Chairman.
Thank you. All in favour? Yeah.
That's clearly carried for both recommendations. Thank you, Chair.
Lovely, thank you. We'll now move on to item 15. Members, I'm not aware of any need to divide the agenda unless there's something that's coming up that I don't know about. No? Okay. And I'll move on to 16. Members, I have no items of urgent business scheduled for the consideration of this meeting. 17. This is what I like. Keep going. Members, you have before you a report that seeks to reappoint a number of independent persons to support the council in dealing with standards complaints, and to appoint independent persons to serve on the Audit and Governance Committee. Can I now invite a leader to introduce the report, please? Councillor Brazil.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Hopefully this isn't controversial at all in the sense that we're just reappointing the peoples that have been present on the Standards Committee already, the independent persons, and someone with some experience at the Standards Board, although not recently, I hasten to add. It's you know, it seems to function pretty well. I know that there have been concerns about the timeliness of some of the reports, but let's hope that now, as we get up to our full complement of officers, that will move forward more quickly. And the second point, and the second item, is the appointment of an independent person to sit on the Audit and Governance. I think it's true to say that those of us that have been on the Audit and Governance Committee, that sometimes when we're looking at particularly the accounts and the hundreds of pages of accounts, that it's quite hard to decipher where are the important points. And what we're doing is we're bringing in the expertise of an independent person who will bring insight and their knowledge to those papers. You'll see here that we haven't appointed as yet, and that is a delegated authority to Lisa in consultation with Lee and Alison, to who that person or persons might be. So hopefully not controversial, and that you can all support it. And I'll also move those recommendations, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Have we any questions on that report? No? Is a member now willing to move the recommendations outlined on the screen?
Yeah, I'll move, Chairman.
A seconder? Seconder. Be all in favour? Yeah. Want to do that.
That's unanimous. That's unanimous on both recommendations. Thank you, Chair.
Item 18, Chairman. Pardon? Item 18, yeah. I'll now move on to item 18, Constitution update. Members, you have before you report on the Council Constitution. Can I now invite Councillor Thomas to introduce the report, please?
Thank you, Chairman. I can only begin to imagine how upset Councillor Birch must be in being away today and not being able to present this document to you, so I do so in his stead. You will see on the screen the recommendations. The Constitution is clearly an incredibly important document. It sits full square behind everything that we do procedurally. Item 1, in fact, refers to that which we've already just discussed in terms of appointing a co-opted member and independent members to A and G. There are also some other changes proposed to the Constitution, which I know Councillor Birch and Mr Fairburn have worked through tirelessly. Now, I'm going to I will headline them for you in case anyone hasn't had the opportunity to go through them fully. The first page on the appendices goes through a raft of name changes, many of which are set around the fact that the area of outstanding natural beauty has changed to national landscape, and that applies to Tamar AONB as well. It's now the Tamar National Landscape Partnership. There are some provisions around the exercise of power. We made reference to when Mrs. Rowe, Councillor Rowe, as she was chairman during COVID. Councillors, you remember during that period of time there were emergency powers exercised by officers because members couldn't meet. So we've changed the Constitution to ensure that emergency powers can be approved by full council within 14 days, and then every 28 days after, officers will come back to full council for permission to carry on with those emergency powers should we find ourselves in a similar situation again. There is a section around any further constitutional changes being made with the monitoring officer and the approval of the portfolio holder for governance, meaning that any further minor changes in future will take place between the monitoring officer and whoever holds Councillor Birch's portfolio. There are a couple of things around parish councils and the conditions around temporary members. I think the important words there, which run as a golden thread through this constitution, are in consultation with the leader and relevant ward members. And I think those last three words, councillors, are really important because they sum up in essence what this document should be about. It should be about consultation with relevant ward members, and I'm very pleased, as I'm sure you will be too, to see reference in there to that. There is a slight change around planning to reflect, as you would hope, the biodiversity gain habitat banks as part of the biodiversity net gain changes. And there is financially, there is a slight change under the violence. We've talked about violence before. Mrs. Bucker has explained exactly how that works in terms of internal moving. There's a minor change there in terms of the amount of violent moving, but as I say, that is very much an internal matter rather than a matter of external spend, and therefore one I would hope that councillors can trust as an internal operational matter. Then finally, there are some changes on the questions and motions, which will be of interest, of course, to councillors around procedure. And again, the essence around these is that we are formalising the fact that there should be chairman's discretion on when questions are taken. There should be, we've deleted the idea that notices on motion will not be moved forward to the next meeting. They will be if they're not heard. I think that's really important, particularly for members of the council who aren't members of the exec, that if they've raised motions that they will be heard at the next meeting if they're ruled out of time during the previous meeting. The only change we've made, and I hope you will agree with this, is that we've given the necessary amount of discretion to the chairman at that meeting to decide what's important in terms of topicality. I think that's really important. There's also stipulations in there, as you would expect, that questions need to be relevant to the agenda of the meeting. I think that's very important for smooth business. And again, there is provision for members of the public to ask questions, but again, there is a chairman's discretion so that we are comfortable that meetings are being properly governed. I'm happy to take questions should there be any. I'll probably do that towards the monitoring officer if they're tricky, but otherwise I'm happy to take questions.
Councillor Thomas. Right, questions please.
Yeah, in the past we've struggled to get alterations to the constitution put onto the website in a timely manner, so that we've been working with old constitutions alongside new ones. Do you have a timescale by which, if we approve these amendments, that this will all be put onto the council's website?
Well, that is an operational question, council panel, so I will defer to officers.
Well, there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be on there within a matter of days. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Abbott. You got a question?
So the most important one to me is on page 27, and it refers to the Constitution, page 80. But I thought your wording when you were just speaking, Councillor Thomas, might have reversed what I understand the change to be, which we are not requiring items to questions only related to items on the agenda, but they're about questions relating to the powers and responsibilities of the council. So we're freeing up our issue, and this is just such a sensible.
Yes, if I spoke that the wrong way around, you're quite right, and thank you for pointing that out, because absolutely, it's about what we do, and when we do it. Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Chairman. On the first paragraph, yeah, that's right. On the first paragraph, executive summary, the third sentence, there's two personalies but no person. So that sentence isn't clear as to who you're referring to. It's just a very small point, but I read it a few times and I couldn't understand it. So 1.1, third sentence, it says personally may make the executive decisions personally, but can delegate power so the decisions can be made. Does that make sense to you?
Apologies if it's not clear, but essentially the powers of the council are conferred on the leader insofar as matters are not reserved to full council. So the leader has the ability to exercise those powers personally or collectively through the executive or individually through portfolio holders.
I think you just need to clarify that because there's no capital P at the beginning. So obviously I think the sentence isn't quite right.
There's no subject in the sentence.
Yeah, there's no, thank you, Jackie. There's no subject. There's two personalies, but no person in that sentence.
Apologies. Stand corrected.
Thank you very much. Is there any further questions? No? You okay, Dan?
Yeah, I move the recommendations as per the screen, Chairman.
Are we a seconder for that?
Happy to second, Chairman.
Councillor Brazil. Are we in favour?
Well, what are we looking at? Is it up there? No, is it? Where is it? Have you put it up there? Sorry.
Yeah, the recommendations as per screen.
Oh, so you're not changing the sentence?
So it's not a recommendation.
The sentence is in the body of the report, not in the recommendation.
Okay, so it doesn't get corrected then?
I do think Sam has an important point there, because it could be referenced back at some stage, so it needs to be quite clear. I don't know if we can come up.
We note it in the minute of the meeting, leader.
Yeah, we'll get. Oh, I'm on green. We can note that, and it can be dealt with after this meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Just surely it's just as an amendment. Sam's proposed it. I'm happy to second it.
It's not an amendment to recommendation, so in that sense it's not. But I think it's been noted that there's a sentence that doesn't really make sense, but it's quite an important sentence.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be clarified. It's not part of a recommendation, so you can't do an amendment on it. But I think that when it is clarified, could we make sure that Sam, as you raised it, that you're happy with it when it's really done?
Can it just be minuted?
Well, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Chairman, that's exactly what I was suggesting, that we will make a note in the minute of the correction so that it's clear to everybody the purpose, and then it's on the record formally.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You okay with that, Councillor Hodgson? Yeah, it will be minuted, and then it can be dealt with. Thank you. is there any further issues on this paper? No? Right, we can now move to the vote. Members, all those in favour?
That's unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I don't ask for anybody against, because if it's unanimous at any point. So we move on now to item 19, which is report of the bodies. Can I please invite the chairman of various bodies to present the minutes of their recent meetings, page by page, for information. Members are advised that the vote taken at the end of each set of minutes is simply a noting exercise. Councillor Long, Chairman of Development Management Committee, held on the 13th of March. Please.
Chairman, I'd like to present the minutes of the Development Management Committee of Wednesday, the 13th of March. So moved, Chairman.
Thank you. Now we move on to Councillor Hawkins as Chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, meeting held on the 14th of March 24, which commences on page 37. Councillor Hawkins.
Move the minutes of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee meeting, which was held on the 14th of March 2024.
Thank you. All these are for noting, incidentally, not for voting. Councillor Bonham, Chairman of the Audit and Governance Committee, meeting held on the 21st of March 24th and the 28th of March 24, which commence on page 41 and page 45 respectively.
Yeah, I move that we note the minutes of the 21st of March and 28th of March as per the agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Bonham. Move back now to Councillor Long, Chairman of Development Management Committee.
Chairman. Chairman, move the minutes of the Development Management Committee of Wednesday, 10th of April. So move, Chairman.
Thank you. Now move to Councillor Gill as Chairman of the Executive meeting held on 18th of April 24, which commenced on page 59.
Thank you, Chairman. Happy to propose the minutes for noting from the meeting from the 18th of April 24 from pages 59 to 68. Thank you.
Yeah. Lovely job. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you all for your attendance. I just got one or two notes. My charities for this coming year will be Diabetic Association, which I didn't want to join, but unfortunately I did 41 years ago, and the Heart Foundation, which is more recent for me. So that is my two charities for the year, and I look forward to your, because so if I'm holding any events with a bit more than it costs, it's for the charities and not for me personally. I could do with the money, but but that's it. Councillor Hopwood.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I wonder, please, if you could let us know your protocol for full councils for the forthcoming year. As you know, I'm an advocate of old-fashioned values. I think we're losing them. And I know Councillor Panel preferred us to sit down. I don't know. And just to put some protocol in place for the coming year, full council would be helpful. And also, I was really interested in what Councillor Panel had done as a chairman and didn't realise that what you do. And we always used to, but it has stopped, get a list at every full council of what the chairman had done in the preceding time. And I would like to see that started again, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hopwood, for making work for me. I'm sure you want to see me working. I must agree that I think it's nice to stand up when you're talking. I mean, we did actually stop that because we did have one member that was 94. He's gone now, unfortunately, and he was in a wheelchair, but he still managed to stand up one way or another. And I think it's good protocol that we could do that. But if there's any other opinion, but I will talk that over with his chief exec. Councillor Abbott, you wanted to say something?
When you do stand up, you're not going to be on camera. Only your tummy is.
Well, that's most of me. So that might not work. Probably, especially if you're a big, tall guy. So yes.
Can I just say something?
So Guy would like to say something, and then we're going to wind up. All right.
Just very quickly in response about what the chairman does. Funnily enough, the first part of the year was very quiet for me. I think the number of events have reduced considerably since COVID, and I haven't been invited to as many events as my predecessor, but then they all came in a rush. And I thought, well, there's always an opportunity for the chairman to report on what he or she has done at the start of the meeting. And then I suddenly realised, because it's the annual meeting, I wouldn't have that opportunity, which is why I wove them into my thanks. But hopefully there'll always be a spot at the start of the meeting for the chair to report on what they've been doing, which some months will be very quiet and others will be, as you've heard, quite busy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I attended one or two on Guy's behalf. And I think the last one I went to, I got done 80 quid for parking. So, so that was a very interesting evening. But I thank you all very, very much for inviting me to be your chairman. I look forward to the next 12 months. And I'm sure that we'll get on quite well and work together as a team. And that's what's most important to me. So thank you all very, very much.